You saved your money for a down payment and you're finally ready to buy a house. You've called me up, you've said, Chad, I want to see this house, and this house. But I ask you that one question you weren't quite prepared for. Do you have pre-approval yet? How do you go about getting a pre-approval? How do you pick the best lender? How do you know what to look for? How do you know what to ask the lender? We'll go over that in this video. It starts right now. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and please hit that subscribe button and the bell down below to get updates about new videos that drop every Monday at 10 a.m. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and I hope that you find this video as informational as the past videos. I'm Chad with eXp Realty, and as always, you can call me anytime or email me, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have. Buying a home is a really big step in your life. It's probably the most expensive thing that you'll ever buy in your lifetime. At least for most of us. So you want a lender that's going to be with you throughout the whole buying process. Somebody that'll hold your hand, basically, tell you what you need to do, and not lie to you. You want somebody that'll stick around after the transaction's done and make sure you're enjoying your new house. A lot of lenders that I use, they'll even contact you, 3 or 4 years later, see if maybe you want to refinance that loan for possibly a better rate. Knock off that PMI payment that you may be paying on your mortgage. So you definitely want to make sure you choose a lender that's going to be there with you, going to be basically a friend, somebody that won't steer you in the wrong direction, and somebody that'll help you out. I work with lots of different lenders in the Kenosha area here. They're all local, and they're all fantastic, and I try my best to match you up with the right one when you're ready to buy your house. So most of us, when we apply for a mortgage and get that mortgage, it's a 30-year mortgage. 30 years, that's a long time to be paying on a house. If you're 30 years old, by the time it's paid off, you'll be 60. You'll be ready for retirement. That's 360 months worth of payments every month. So of course we want to try and make that payment as small as we possibly can, because you never know what might happen during those 30 years. You may change jobs, you may lose jobs, you may have kids. You never know what could happen. So there are some things that we can control for our monthly payment. If you escrow your taxes and your property insurance like most people do, those are things that you cannot control. We can't control property taxes. Our city sets that, and we just kind of have to pay what they tell us to pay. Of course, most people know property taxes tend to go up almost every year. It's pretty rare where they stay the same or even go down. When they do go down, though, it's quite that awesome feeling. You feel like throwing a party, but that almost never happens, of course. Homeowners insurance, that's something you have to have a mortgage. Unfortunately, we can't really control those costs either. The insurance companies just set those rates, and you pay what they tell you to pay. Of course, you can shop around and choose a different insurance company that may or may not be lower in cost, help you save on the monthly payment. Some of the things that we can control, though, is how much money we put down. Obviously, the more money you put down on a house, the cheaper your payment will end up being each month for that. Typically, people want to try and put down at least 20% of the purchase price. That'll help your payment be, kind of ideal. What most people say is ideal for a monthly payment. Of course, most people can't afford, or a lot of people can't afford a 20% down payment on the purchase price. So a lot of people, they go with an FHA loan, that's only 3.5% of the purchase price. Now the problem with paying less than 20% down is that you'll have something called PMI, private mortgage insurance. That's basically if you default on your loan, the bank gets back all their money from an insurance company. If you're paying less than 20% on your loan, we can't control. You have to pay that PMI. It's usually on there until you've made up that 20%. Typically, I want to say, 10 to 12 years is how long you'll be paying that PMI every month. But that is another thing that we can control. If you don't want to pay PMI, you want to put more money down towards the house. That'll help lower your mortgage payment. When you go to get a mortgage, they're going to pull your credit score. You want to make sure you have a good debt to income ratio that you can make your payments, obviously. And they want to make sure that you pay your bills on time. Of course, your credit score comes into play with that. Credit score comes into play with almost everything. Rental applications, everything in the world revolves around your credit score. So obviously, the higher your credit score, the better interest rate you're going to get, the lower the monthly payment will probably be because they'll charge you less interest. So you want to try and have at least a decent credit score when you're applying for a mortgage. I know lenders typically look for at least a credit score, a minimum of 620. I think some have gone even lower than that recently. I heard of one lender going as low as 580 for a credit score. But obviously the higher your credit score, the better the interest rate you'll get. Typically, the higher the credit score, the more money you're able to put down. So, that's one thing that you can work on before you apply for a mortgage and you get that pre-approval, is work on your credit score. Lots of things you can do. Lenders that I work with, they can pull your credit for you when you apply for a loan. And if your credit score isn't quite where you want to be or where they think it needs to be, they'll give you some tips about what to pay off first, what not to worry about, and they'll kind of guide you to help that credit score boost up as fast as quickly so you can get that loan as fast as possible. So when you're ready to start looking for a house, contact me. I'll put you in touch with some of these lenders. They'll pull your credit and they'll tell you what you can and can't do to make that credit score even better. So what are some things that make a lender great? A lot of people, when they start shopping for a mortgage, they just kind of look at TV commercials, say, hey, this Rocket place, Rocket Mortgage, they give me a fantastic rate. I'm going to go with them no matter what because it's all about the money. The lower the interest rate, the less the payment will be. That's great, but you got to also remember customer service during the loan process. When you apply for a mortgage and you're going through the process while you're in escrow waiting for that loan to be ready and so you can close on the house, this person that's doing your mortgage, you'll be talking to them almost every day for the next 30 to 45 days. Your new best friend for the next month. So you want somebody that is great. A great lender will make sure that you get the best possible interest rate. I've had some lenders that I've worked with, they've called me up and said, hey, Chad, Mr. and Mrs. client that you sent me, I'm not the best lender for them. I can't get them the best rate. I have a friend, though, that works at XYZ company. I'm going to send them over there to get an even better rate than I can give them. That's what makes a great lender. A lender that's willing to give up money out of their own pocket, because if they don't close on your loan, they don't get paid. But they're looking out for your best interest, just like I am. So you want to make sure that you choose a great lender. A great lender will also answer any questions you may have in a timely manner. You'll call them or text them with a question or email them. You're not waiting to hear back for days. Usually the lenders that I work with, they'll respond to you in hours, sometimes even minutes. It just depends on how you're contacting them and if they're busy at that exact time or not. A great lender will always explain everything to you that you're signing. They won't just send something to you and say, please sign this. They'll give you a call and say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, this is what I'm sending you. This is what it means. This is why you're signing it. They'll make sure that you're informed every step of the way and make sure that you have no questions. A great lender will also stay in touch with you after the transaction. Like I said earlier in the video, they may call you 3, 4, 5 years down the road and say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, interest rates are dropping again. We may be able to get you a better rate on your mortgage if you refinance with us. So that's a great lender. That great lender stays in touch with you. They're like a friend to you. Maybe not a great friend after the transaction is done, but like a long lost friend that'll call you every so often just to check in and see how things are going. So those are one of the services that I offer to all my buyers, is I find you a great lender to work with. One that'll take care of you and one that'll look out for your best interest. So you may be asking yourself, Chad, how do I find a great lender? That's a great question. And what I would recommend is you talk to your friends and talk to your family, especially those that have recently bought a house. Say, Mr. or Mrs. Friend, who did you use for a lender? What did you think of them? What was your experience? What would you change? Of course, you can always call me anytime. Say, Chad, we're ready to start the home buying process. We need a lender though. Who do you recommend that we go with? I'll probably ask you a few questions if I don't already know you, get to know you a little bit better, pair you with the perfect lender that match your personality the best. Whether I recommended a lender to you or your friend or family member did, talk to that lender before you just blindly go with them. Ask them what rates they're currently charging for interest rates. Ask them what fees they charge at the end of the loan. Ask them what the typical closing costs are. Send them an email. See how long it takes them to respond. Those kinds of things. These are important things you're going to want to talk to the lender about and make sure that this lender is the right fit for you. Remember, this lender will be your best friend for the next 30 to 45 days. So you want to make sure you get along well with them and that they're going to have your best interest at heart. If you like this video, please check out this video about the home buying process. Of course, finding the lender is one of the steps in the home buying process. But is it the first step? The second step? Which step is it? Check out this video below in the description and find out. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more great informational videos that come out every Monday at 10 a.m. Thank you so much and have a great week. Until next week,